What I'll say about Trudeau, I think he overstepped. Listen, Trudeau's been beaten down for 4 years, okay? Everyone in Canada was hating him. It was a Trudeau angle. This is the first time in a long time where he's been kind of like getting people behind him. There's a surge in Canadian patriotism, and he's like the leader, and he's like, hey, fuck you, Trump. And everyone's like, yeah, wait a minute, this guy's not half bad. And I think he should really try to keep this, like, he was saying this thing earlier. He was like, hey, to our American friends, listen, we are friends and allies, we've traded. We don't know what Trump is doing, but we're going to stand tall. And it's like, no one can fault that. I think today he was like, or maybe yesterday, he was like, yeah, keep booing the national anthem. And then that was the first time I saw some comments that were like, hey, whoa. whoa. I'm just saying, you really want to have it's Trump. He's the problem. You don't want to be like, fuck America, I hate every fucking American. I think that's my political strategy, I would tell you. I think Donald Trump sees tariffs more as a diplomatic tool than something that actually changes the American economy. I think people said that before he did the tariffs, and then he's done the tariffs now. And now they are changing the internal American economy. And the diplomatic gains don't seem to be there. So I feel like he wants them to be everywhere all at once. He wants them to simultaneously fix our economy, get rid of income tax, make every ally bend to our will. But they're not doing any of these things. And the second they cause problems in the stock market, he seems to back down. From my local perspective, I think people don't like Trudeau still. Yeah, I mean, I think if he's like, you know what, I'm going to run again, then people would get really mad. I think they'd be like, wait, that's not what we said. But he has already announced that he's not going to run. He stepped down. So people are tolerating it. And they are getting very nationalist. They're getting pro-Canada. There's a vibe shift. What do you think of Carney? I don't know enough about Mark Carney to tell you, but I do know when I hear the word Carney, I think of a guy that works at a carnival. So it kind of throws me off. I feel like he's gonna like have one of those rigged games where I try to throw the ring and I can't land it on the bottle, and he's gonna take my points. And his opponent's name is PP, which makes me think of a dick. So Canada's got two bad options from my point of view. What are your thoughts on the Canadian political situation? I saw Carney's speech. Carney replaced Justin Trudeau as the head of the Liberals. I saw his speech. It was so fucking Canadian, dude. He was like, and we're going to show those Americans a thing or two about how to play some hockey. I'm not kidding. He said this. But people seem to like him. I still remain, I'm sticking to my prediction that Pierre Poilievre will win, but it'll be closer. It'll be closer. It'll be closer than it was under Trudeau. Patriotism thing is definitely changing things. Does Canada have nukes? No. Canada is a zero nuclear weapon country. If only they'd planned for their southern neighbor to possibly invade them. Foolish. Does America have nukes? Famously, no. Famously, America has zero nuclear weapons. We actually said, no, we don't like that kind of stuff. We famously said, we're going to go without it. Okay, we'll make it work without these terrible weapons. FDR said nukes aren't very poggers. That's exactly right. You've studied your history. A student of history, I see. I appreciate that. I have well-read chatters. He said, not very poggers, my lad. And we just didn't make them. Will there be another Cold War? And if so, with who? If there was another Cold War, and you could say there might be one right now, it would be between America and China. I don't know how you could ask that question and not know that answer. Let's talk about a very cold war when we invade Canada, I guess, because it's so cold up there. But an actual Cold War, the likes of which we saw post-World War II, is between US and China, battling for geostrategic supremacy. I think Belgium's a contender. A three-way Cold War between the United States, Belgium, and China. The Belgium sphere of influence. Everyone's worried about what Belgium might do. Not even Europe, just Belgium. I had some banger waffles the other day. It's a soft power export. Belgian waffles are soft power. If they threaten to cut off Belgian waffle exports to a country, they might fucking fold quickly. While we're waffling, they're making the waffles. Fuck, that's fucking true. Until we get the patents for the waffles, Belgium will always be a target. Yeah, they'll always have the leash on us, dude. The Labour Party won big in Australia today. Does that contradict your thesis about incumbents getting kicked out? It literally does. If what happens today in Western Australia holds for the broader election and Labour wins, that will literally invalidate my prediction that Dutton would edge it out. I think what is happening, you can correct me if I'm wrong if you're Australian, but what is happening is similar to Canada, a lot of these countries are seeing what's happening with Trump and souring on the idea of these Trump light people in their country. And it's giving more motivation to the people against it. Now, that being said, the election is going to be very close. It would not surprise me at all. I'm going to hold my predictions. I'm not going to back down from my predictions until they happen. I'm happy to admit being wrong, but I still believe Pierre Poilievre and Dutton will win, even though I did say I think the Dutton was incredibly close. I was just talking with an Australian yesterday. I do think Australia, as I've mentioned, is the most we fucking hate all politicians country I've ever met. I think Australians in general fucking hate all politicians. They have no real stance. If they could vote to get them all out, they would do it. I seriously believe that's the vibe, so it's tougher to predict. I really don't know where they're going to fall, but I'm going to stand on my prediction just because I think, first of all, intellectual honesty. Let's not fucking change them every 2 seconds. And then secondly, because I remain skeptical that things will change so drastically by the election, but we'll see. I mean, clearly things are changing. I hate Peter Dutton. He looks like Voldemort. He does indeed look like Voldemort. If you put on a robe, he would look exactly like Australian Voldemort. Hey, Big A, I recently interviewed for IIM Ahmedabad, the highest ranked business school in India with a 0.17 acceptance rate. Interview was just about coming across as a knowledgeable person, and mine went towards nuclear energy, and I threw the book at them and had a long discussion on Germany. They were visibly impressed, and I think I have decent chances, so thanks a lot for that. You ranted about the history of the German Green Party in an Indian business school interview? That's base, dude. Good luck. Godspeed. There's more Green Party drama in Germany right now. Though in this case, they have a lot more of a case. You know, they have this debt break where they're not allowed to spend or borrow money above a certain amount. It's like enshrined to the Constitution. You just can't do it. They need a 2/3 majority to repeal the debt break. And the new government of the CDU and the SPD are trying to force it through the old parliament so they can't get blocked by the AfD and the left, so they can finally spend on military infrastructure, all the things Germany needs. But Greens are blocking it. They're not the only ones blocking it, but they're the major party blocking it, largely because they asked to do this for years and were also blocked, so they're mad. So they're like kind of out of spite, kind of out of, there's like provisions in this new bill that, you know, there's like pork in there. The only thing I think that people don't really understand is if you're going to get a 2/3 majority on anything politically, there's going to be a little bit of pork. There's like kickbacks to restaurant owners in Germany, and like there's like a lot of little things to get certain districts on board. But overall, I mean, the most of the money goes towards remilitarizing Germany, which is kind of desperately needed now with US pulling out of NATO, and rebuilding infrastructure. I hope they eventually come to a deal because they're going to run out of time. I mean, they're right to be mad because they were blocked, and the CDU did go like, we'll never get rid of the debt break, and now they want to get rid of it. But somebody's got to do it, bro. If they don't come to a deal, then Germany's going to do kind of what France is doing, which is stall around with nothing happening, get worse and worse, and then the AfD gets a big rise. Remilitarize Germany, you say? Well, here's the thing about Germany. I'm going too deep into it. I've mentioned this before, but German factories are closing at a rapid rate. Germany is essentially deindustrializing. They're losing jobs. The way to keep those factories open is to become the weapons manufacturer of Europe, because Europe doesn't want to buy from America anymore. So if Germany's like, hey, instead of making cars, which we're losing to China on hand over fist, if we start making tanks, planes, guns, bullets, etc., then all of a sudden you can keep those factories open. You can keep the economy rolling. It's like not a bad plan. I mean, it could lead to some bad stuff down the line. Who knows? But it's like, it makes sense. So I think for Germany's sake, I hope they come to a deal. But I do think they have to give the Green Party something. I unironically believe that. I think like they can't expect the Green Party to just be like solemn vow, go along with it after they got so battered for it when they had power. Why do you care so much about German politics? You're an American. I care about politics in almost every major G7 nation, except for the UK. Boring! And I read the FT every fucking day, and they go through, it's a European-based publication. And so I get European news is as front page as American there. Also, it's the third biggest economy in the world, yeah, so it kind of matters. Used to be a big American ally till recently, too. Also, I live there, so I have a particular affinity for it. I have fond memories. And I also, not only did I live there growing up, but I went back there every summer during college. Also, me and Ari, I think, had our first kiss there. So how about that? And now we're married. So how about that? All right, it all adds up. You kissed before marriage? No, we got married here. And then when he said, you like to kiss the bride? I said, yes, but only in Deutschland. And then we got on a plane, we flew to Germany and had our first kiss.